guys, welcome to this week's video. Before I start, I want to point out my new shirt, and it ties in with today's theme. Just saying, it's pretty brown eyes and a mind full of thoughts, because today's video is about books, libros, leyendo, reading, something that I like to do when I have time and I have the chance. But this week, I want to tell you guys why you should read. Not just the typical, oh, it's good for you, it makes you smarter. No, I want to give you guys real facts, real reasons on why you should, and maybe it'll push you to do it. Because it doesn't matter if you do it for 5-6 minutes, 5-10 minutes, just do it. Make it part of your habit, of your everyday life. So I'm just going to jump right in it. First fact is that it's like exercise for your brain, keeps you mentally stimulated, and there's even studies that have shown that it was able to reduce or prevent, in some cases, Alzheimer's and dementia. Have you guys ever heard of the phrase use it or lose it? Yeah. Basically, if you don't use this, it goes a bye-bye. Second, number 2 fact, it can reduce stress. You can lose yourself in a story that you're reading, and it gives you a moment to relax and enjoy the distraction. Depending on what you like to read, what you find interesting. I like a little bit of everything. It just depends really on the author and how they've written what they're talking about. But at the end, I'll show you guys some things that I have read, finished reading, so give you options. It's not just like stories. There's poems, there's spirituality, there's fiction, nonfiction. And so let's jump back in. Fact number 3. Knowledge is power. New information is given to you. You become better equipped to talk about your interest or situations. You can lose everything material-wise in one day. But one thing that someone can't take away from you is what you've learned. That is something inside of you, for you, and no one can take that out of you. Whatever you learn, whatever you teach yourself, it's for you. You did it for you, and it stays with you, no matter what. Fact number 4, it expands your vocabulario. When you know how to talk, you're more confident in what you're saying because you know what you're saying, and you're better able to express what you're saying. Which means, this ties in with something else, the fact that you become a better writer. If you struggle with writing, a lot of my friends struggle with writing. I'm really good at writing because I like to read. And they call me a smarty pants. But anyways, when you read, sometimes what's good to do is that if you find a word that you don't understand, you stop and you look it up so that you can better comprehend what you're reading. And that way, if you see it again, you already know, like, oh, okay, it means this. And you just kind of flow with the story. And so when you're writing, it helps because you have an option. You have an array of new words to, instead of just saying but, like, and. That gets really repetitive. And in a paper, that's really annoying. But anyway, fact number 5. I got 5 on it. It improves your memory. It improves tu memoria. So, studies have found that you have to create new neural pathways or strengthen your existing ones in order to recall something that you're reading. So, it can assist in short-term memory and stabilize your moods because you become more aware of what is coming up and what is staying. So, I feel like after you read a book, it's really good to just kind of not quiz yourself, but think about what you read. Really analyze it and think to yourself, look it up, find what other people have said about it. Just expand not only on your opinion, but on what someone else thought about it. Fact number 6. Fact number 6. You develop stronger analytical thinking. Books make you think about how they could end, so you begin to draw lines together between points, and you enjoy what you're reading. So if you can find someone to discuss this with, then it's better because you can create a dialogue and share interpretations of what you read. And that goes kind of back to what I was talking about in the previous fact. So enjoying reading a book at the same time as like a friend. If you guys find a book and say, oh, I've always wanted to read it. Oh, okay, let's read it together. That's pretty fun because you guys can tell each other, all right, let's read one chapter a day and we'll talk about it each day. And especially depending on what kind of book it is, it makes you more excited to read it because it's not only you by yourself getting lost in this story. It's like when you're watching a telenovela, you're watching some Netflix series and you're watching it with your friends. You guys are like, "Bitch, did you see Diego said I hate you," or some shit like that. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Why? Because our mind, except in some cases, there are some cases, there's a specific name. It's not a disease, but it's like a psychological thing. There are people on this earth who can't imagine. That's for another video, but like that's pretty cool. But most of us, we can create pictures in our mind. So we get our own TV for free. Fact number 7. It improves your focus and concentration. We have so many things going on nowadays. What's interesting about now is that our phones, our electronics, everything that distracted us was our escape before all of this happened, the situation. And now we just want to escape from our electronics. And I think if you can't go outside, if you don't want to go outside, then lose yourself in a good book. You know, let yourself be aware that there is so much going on, but you have the ability to focus on one thing, look at something, envelop yourself in it, and really just enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. It just helps you feel better and escape without getting in your car, vroom, vroom, you know. We can't do that right now, some of us. But you can focus on one thing at a time. So instead of focusing on bad things, focus on the villain on chapter 4. You know, it gets good. So, fact number 8. My last fact. It can be free. Yes, you can read for free? What? Yeah. I know some people like buying books. Me, I'm actually old-fashioned. If I stare at a screen for too long, I'm gonna get distracted as fuck. If I'm staring at it on my phone, I'm gonna get distracted as fuck. So I actually like having physical books. That's just me. I'm old-fashioned like that. I also like to buy, when I buy a book, I like it to be secondhand, just because what's the point of buying it brand new? To me, I don't see the point. You know, just save the trees. You're gonna get the same story. Unless it's like a limited edition, oh my god, book that you really want, then go for it. But if you don't like carrying books around, there is your phone, there is tablets, there are news articles. Some people don't like reading books. Some people like reading scholarly journals. They like reading their own literature. You can sit down and write a story and read it to yourself. You don't have to read a novel. The point is for you to just get your mind going. You get your neurons kicking in, stimulate what's going on up here, because what's going on up here controls everything that's going on out here. So comic books, you know, if you don't want to read the typical as pages filled of words, comic books are cool. There's a few comic books I've read. I thought I still had them, but I can't find them. All I found were my books. So, just take some time out of your day. Audiobooks. Some people really like audiobooks. I still count it because you still have to focus on it. You still have to listen. It gets your mind going. Some people are audio learners. So sometimes if they're listening to it, it sticks to their head more. It sticks to their inside. Not everyone can just look at something. Like, people learn differently, so it makes sense that you would feel different hearing a story, reading something. So yeah, just take 5 to 10 minutes out of your day, read something. Read an article that you find in Snapchat. If it's interesting, why not? Just read it. Read. Get information, new information in here, because this is our treasure chest. Like I said, one day you can lose your phone. One day you can lose a house. One day you can lose, I don't know, your clothes. You can lose all of this. This is all just, it can disappear. But like I said, what's up here, you control. You have it. It's yours. No one can take it. So equip yourself with the tools that are given to you. Don't just ignore it. Don't just let it go. Don't just think, oh, I don't have time for that. You have time. If you have 30 minutes to look at funny videos, you got 5 minutes to read 3 pages, 2 pages, depending on how fast you read. But before I end the video, I want to give you guys some suggestions, show you some things that I've read. This is The Heart of Understanding. It's like a spiritual book. It's on Eastern meditation by Thich Nhat Hanh. It's kind of like talks about the Heart Sutra. So I had to read this for class, but I actually enjoyed it. I read it in like 20-30 minutes. It's not a lot. So what I'm saying is that you don't need to get a Twilight book and read it, because some people don't have an attention span that big. I read it though, but some people don't have that attention span. So you can pick up something small. This book, American Girls, this I recommend. It's basically, when you dissect it, it's how our society has let down our girls. It's how our society has neglected us and ignored us as women as we grow up. It focuses on the, I think it was the Manson girls. So if you know about the murderer, like Marilyn Manson, how he murdered people, it's talking about his followers, the girls. So how society failed them, not really how they failed society or failed their families. It looks at it backwards, al revés. It makes you really focus on why someone would do something. So I recommend this one. American Girls, definitely. Why are all the black kids sitting together in the cafeteria and other conversations about race? This is woke. This, it's like statistics. It's like statistics, stories. It's not stories, because it's all facts. All facts. This is real. This is one fact I'm gonna give you from this book. Did you know black women are being incarcerated twice as fast as black men? Did you know that? Why? I had to read this for class, but honestly, there's another fact. There's so many things in this book, honestly, that I could talk about. It's talking about identity, the composition of race. What does it mean? How does the United States, it focuses on the United States in general, and how we make race, how we, as a society, compose why we see people the way we see them. And something I want to point out, another fact, it was, I think, from an article in 2014. Most of drug dealers in the United States are white. But guess what the percent of people being incarcerated for drug charges are? I'm gonna let you guess and give you a second. 90% of black and brown people are being incarcerated for drug charges, when the dealers are mostly consisted of white people. I'm just saying, like I told you, knowledge is power. have something to talk about, you know, talk about society, talk about life. I like talking about life. I like having deep conversations, not about just like, oh, that's a pretty shirt. No. Give me something to talk about. I'm gonna share this knowledge with y'all. Goddesses in Every Woman. It's like a psychological book, and it just kind of it breaks down each woman into an archetype of a Greek goddess. That was pretty interesting. I like this one. You can even short stories. These are poems by American women. I had to read this one for class, but there's actually a lot of good poems in here too. Like, let me see. Sometimes what I like to do is to highlight. If I like something, I like to highlight it. I don't know if you can see it, but I like to highlight sections, go back to it, make a little note next to something that caught my eye. You can always reread a book. Sometimes, depending on what state of mind you're in, your book doesn't change, but the way that you think about it does. Just saying. The Handmade Sale. This good. This real good. This I recommend. I had to read it for for school too, but this is a really good book. I actually enjoyed this one. There's actually even I think it's a Hulu series on it. I don't remember if my teacher said that it follows the book exactly. And I know it changes because usually when they turn a book into real life, it changes it. Sometimes the book is better than the show or the movie. So this one, Why Meditate. This one was good too. It's kind of like an intro in meditation. It's by Matthew Ricard. He's a well-known monk. I read this one for class too, for Eastern thought for my class. That was a really cool class, honestly. If you have an option to learn about the religion in other countries, or just to get an insight on religion in general, I would definitely take that opportunity. It's always good to just open yourself up to new ideas, new ways of thinking. And then Class Matters. Class Matters. Also for class. For my social inequality class. This one, it was pretty good. I feel like what was more interesting would be this one when it comes to race and class division. But this one was also pretty good. There's one thing I highlighted in here. Let's see. This one talks about it more based on income. So like class, class. So it breaks that down on how people in different situations can come out with different results. But usually it also includes their race on why they came out with that different result. Like even how, depending on what type of immigrant you are, because that's true. You could be an immigrant from Italy and your life goes way better than if you were an immigrant from Mexico. Like your opportunities change. So, I don't know. Yeah, books. On top of books. You know, I'm your local dealer. You know, come at me. I got the good goods. I have a lot of books I haven't even read in my closet. Not a lot. I got a lot. But these I have read. I can attest for them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. And I hope you go out and read something. Because there's nothing better than to get lost in a few pages of a beautiful book. Ooh, if you can, I recommend go lay down on the grass and just read. I don't know why I like that. It just feels natural. Feels good. I'm a little book nerd. I am gonna get back to reading because I haven't been able to do it in a good while. So after I'm done with classes, I'll finally be able to read again when I want to. I already ordered 2 books, so I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to you guys actually putting these facts to use. Improve yourself, nobody else. Well, actually, by improving yourself, you improve people around you. So share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.